Of Goa taken time to meet with me, and we had a wonderful discussion on the role of how different communities in Goa can work together and create communal harmony in Goa. And one of the things I presented to him is a petition to impress on the Goa government, where we can conduct a study just like we are doing for the temples that were destroyed by the Portuguese rule. If we can conduct a study on the churches that have been in ruin and have been destroyed during the Portuguese rule, and try and set up a fund for the restoration of churches like we have done for temples as well. Goa has been a great example of communal harmony, and I think that's very important for us to progress in that manner, and therefore the need to take all communities with us and move forward. Churches in Navilam, some of the churches in Velam, some of the churches in the north side of Goa as well.
What was the governor's response to?
The governor was very positive, and he spoke very vehemently about how it is important for us to work together as communities, thinking as Indians first. So his whole conversation was about nation first, and I think that's very commendable.
Okay, Savio, the Archives and Archaeology Minister Subhash Faldesai also mentioned that तेणेन म्हटलेलें की बाबा ज्यो चर्चीस आहा जावं कितें आहा आपल्याक मेन्शन करचें आमी रिस्टोर करपाक रेडी आहा. So तुमी
I agree with that. So what I see, for us to understand that is for us to do a study, just like we are doing with the study that's happening on the temples. Now there are some of the existing ones, like if you take the Bharati cross that is there in Velam, you take the Rosary Church, which is over 400 odd years as well. Now these are churches that have got great spiritual aspects to it, as well as tourism related focus that can have on that. Now if you remember, Kishan Reddy in 2001 very categorically stated about the fact that Christian churches are of great importance from a tourism perspective. The centre and Prime Minister Modi has been working to try and use a way in which all communities come together. So whether it's churches, whether it's temples, whether it's mosques that have got significant religious value, we must be able to restore them and keep them in great shape, is what I would say.
Mr. Rodrigues, now you are seeking funds from the centre or only from the state?
No.
And how much fund are you expecting?
Well, the first step is the study. The first step is the study to understand the churches that are in ruin over here. The second step is to understand what is it that we want to do over there. If you look at what they've done with the Bomb Jesu, over the last several years, the centre has spent about 42 crores to have that renovated and to make it into a highly UNESCO protected site as well as a tourism site. So in much the same way, to decide on the fund can be only based on what the study is and what then needs to be done to that. So there is no decision on the fund.
So you have suggested any steps to be taken regarding the study?
Yes, the first step is the study. The first step is a study, just like they have done for the Hindu temple, which has constituted a committee. What needs to be done is the constitution of a committee to conduct the study. Based on the study, we will be able to decide what is the restoration that is required on the churches or the religious significant Christian things like the Bharati cross, or even the cross at Bambolim, whether we can make them into wonderful tourism sites while they are spiritual sites as well. CM, about a month and a half to 2 months back, when they had announced the formation of the committee for the setting up of restoration of the temples, I think it's a very great idea. It's on that same line I'm saying, once you're doing it for the temples, also do it for the churches. If from the Muslim community somebody comes out and says, let's find if there are ancient Muslim relics or Muslim places in India, in Goa, let's do something for that as well. In the end, you see, you take a person in Goa and you put him in our typical Goan t-shirts or shirts. You think you can tell him whether he's a Hindu or a Muslim? You can't. And that's the beauty of Goa. Goa is probably the only place in India where you can't distinguish based on religion.